What you doing? I'm your otaku Tanner, the theacstories with this alcoholandanime. Woo! And now I'm very much looking forward to this episode because I feel like in first time in maybe a while I've real I really enjoyed this movie so much. I'm trying to think back to the last movie I've really liked this much. Maybe One Piece Red was the last one. I'm sure there might have been another that I can't think about, but ooh, especially for one already based on a series. Oh, I'm not. I am talking about. I'm talking about Spy Family Code White. You probably already realized that if you clicked on to listen to this, but oh, I'm already so excited. I'm jumping right into it. But before I jump right into the movie, of course, like always, I gotta jump into my drink, my alcohol of choice for this one. And ooh, but I already say this was a win for alcohol when it comes to alcohol representation in the film. A little bit, it's in there, but okay, my drink. I'm excited about this too because I actually made a drink, like an actual original. I don't know if it how original it is. It's definitely original to me, and I actually accidentally made a drink while thinking about while Spy Family, while also not thinking about it. Leading up to the film, I was already thinking of drinks because I'm decided not to look up stuff anymore and just to try and make off whatever I could think of, usually hopefully with whatever I already have. And I was like, oh, well, I'll make some kind of variation on White Russian because the whole thing, all of this just gives me very Russian-y vibes. I don't know why. Maybe the white, I kind of always associate the white and snow, kind of the coldness of Russia. I don't know, something about the clothes. You know, I don't really know anything about Russian clothes, but I feel like there's a lot of Russian esque inspiration coming from some of this, which maybe not the best time for nowadays, but so that's what I was kind of thinking of is some kind of variation of White Russian, also Code White, White Russian. Maybe that's also part of it. So I was looking at what I have because I didn't want to really go out and buy anything else, and then I stopped thinking about it. And then coincidentally, some other time, I don't remember what I was doing. I was just mixing stuff together. And I had some. I'll call it. I'll give you the name first. So that way you still have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about. What I ended up making is something I called a Walrushin. He made the shin coming from the White Russian. Not white. That would make sense. It is walnut milk. Um, in place of like the creaminess of a White Russian, Irish cream. That's a walrus in place of the coffee liqueur, and then the Russian, the vodka. You know, so that's why I made it. Actually turned out pretty decent. I liked it. I don't even know if it can be called anything close to a White Russian because I substituted 2/3 of it with stuff that probably isn't even really that close, and it's just the vodka. Also, it's not that white because Irish liqueur and the water milk both have a brownish tint to it. But that's why I ended up making. It actually ended up being pretty good. I made myself more of those. Then I finished the walnut milk. But that's not even what I'm made or making for this video. What I'm drinking. I also just realized I haven't even tried it yet. It smells decent. What I am drinking now, I did not think of a name for. Let me think. A moment. I call it Churchen. Churchen? Yeah. Let's call it a Churchen. No wait. But I got all Churchen. All Churchen. All Church. All Churchen. All Churchen. Try saying that. But what it is pretty much the same thing. But but since I ran out of walnut milk, I now have vanilla almond milk, and the vodka is now cherry vodka. And there's reasons for this. But first, I'm going to try my drink because I haven't done so yet. I'm hoping it's good. Oh, that is Hmm. Oh, that is something. I think it's the Irish cream sticks out the most, but I didn't put that much in it. It's like a weird blend of like it works enough. It's not gross, but you can still like taste everything. It's like the hint of cherry. You don't taste the vodka, but you can taste the kind of cherryness. You can kind of taste the Irish cream, and then the vanilla almond milk is something. But it's actually not too bad. I kind of like it. So the reason I picked cherry vodka is mm, going for another sip already for a few reasons, and it has to do with the movie. Of course, when I went to see it, I saw it in theater, so I wasn't drinking during it because my theater isn't cool like that. So I wasn't drinking anything like that. I did have a B&B before the movie, but that's whatever. That had nothing to do with it. That had to do with my other alcohol anime sub-series, for the bartender anime. That's something different to talk about. What the cherry has to do is in the film, they're getting ingredients for some kind of dessert, and the last ingredient they need is cherry liqueur, and they can't find it anywhere. So that's where kind of a lot of the problems of really start, is looking for the cherry liqueur. And I was like, wow, that's so relevant. And it's like, I can go and get some kind of cherry liqueur and find it. And guess what? It's apparently hard for me to find too, because I never found it. I didn't look that hard though, because I had other stuff to do. Because I went literally right after the movie. Yeah, there's no cherry liqueur of any kind. And I could get cherry syrup, but I don't really like cherry flavored stuff that much. So if I got syrup, I'll pretty much use it once and then never again, most likely. Unless I kept making this drink, which I guess I could. But then I'll still have to get all the other stuff too. So, since I couldn't find the liqueur, I didn't want to get syrup. I just thought the next best thing was some cherry vodka. Because I'm on my sour vodka anyways. Need to get more. Might as well get this. I got a little bottle because, like I said, I wouldn't want to drink it all. But if it's alcohol, I'll still drink it somewhat, somehow. So yeah, a little bottle of Smirnoff Cherry is actually okay. It's not too bad. And that's what I ended up mixing with. But yeah, think I did a pretty decent job with this drink. I don't know the correct ratios. If I was to recommend it to anyone, I kind of just guess. Well, I put the Irish cream in the bottom just to give it a nice base, which I don't know, maybe is why it tastes so much like it. I would say if you had a glass, I just thinking of my glass, I did maybe like really not much, an eighth of the glass of that, and then I did about half the glass next of the almond milk, and then topped it off. Probably not really, literally just topped it off like a cherry on top with the cherry vodka. Which may be why I don't have the cherry taste, but I feel like that's a good ratio. Whatever you put those ratios, let's say, if I math that out, it'll be 1 part Irish cream, 4 parts almond milk, 1 part cherry vodka. Sure. So that sounds close enough. Depending on how you like it. Maybe I will put a little more vodka in it. Maybe. Yeah. Actually, now, I don't know if it's just because it's set or it's starting to mix. Really just tasting like the almond milk now. So maybe a little less almond milk and a little bit more of everything else. But yeah, it's pretty good. I'm glad the cherry liqueur, or the lack thereof, was something that gave me a little quest to do, a little mission of my own. And then there were alternative drinks I could have tried for this, aside from just a White Russian, aside from just being lazy. I'm trying to think. There's one obvious one. I'm trying to think if there was any other like beer or sake, any other kind of alcohol in it. But the only other alcohol that really stuck out is at some point in the movie, Yor gets drunk on mulled wine intentionally. Just I'll get to it when I do a summary of the movie and my thoughts on that. But I swear in the film there was like a sign for it, and I thought it said malted wine. But going back and trying to find that, I think it was mulled wine, which is wine. I'm trying to explain it. Wine just heated, spices, stuff like that. A drink that will really fit with wintry stuff, but it is coming up to summer now, and not something I want to drink. So didn't do that. Another thing I thought of is at that same stand, it was also a coffee stand. I was like, well, what if I mix like coffee and wine? I've heard of Coke and wine, which I don't like Coke that much, anyways. But I don't know, coffee and wine. I don't know how that would turn out. Sounds the two biggest tea stainers in one drink. So I didn't want to do that. That's why I'm glad when the cherry liqueur came around later, it really gave me something to do. However, it's non-alcoholic cherry liqueur in this film. I don't know why, or if that matters, or if that's usually what it is. But, yeah, cherry liqueur, whatever. I didn't find it anyway, so I guess that was zero alcohol. So, the cherry vodka at least is alcohol, which is my whole thing. But yeah, that's the alcohol part of this. It's good. I did good. I'm proud of myself. I wasn't too lazy this time. It helps I had most of the stuff already. It also helps that I've been getting other alcohols and building up my bar for the bartender sub-series I'm doing for Alcohol Anime. Check that out too. Now, let's actually talk about the movie. Of course, have plenty to say about my experience to go and see it. It was in theaters, and I went and see it. I didn't go and see it opening night like I usually do, mainly just because I thought I was going to go with people. People did not show up. I went alone, and I got there to the theater, and I was very alone. I was the only one in the theater. I should probably post pics. Oh, I did. If you go to my Instagram, theacstories, _AC_stories on Instagram, you see the theater completely empty because I was the only one there and I was behind the camera, so you won't see it. No one was there. I get there to buy the ticket. The people just seemed so confused. Oh, I did get a little Anya card. It was cute. I got that. And then the person told me, or asked if it was okay if it wasn't subbed, and I was like, oh, I sure hope it's subbed. I was scared being asked that question because I went before when it was supposed to be subbed and it ended up being dubbed. But this person assured me it was subbed. Good. Because apparently the theater is wanting them to make sure to show more subbed, or make the movie company is wanting to make sure the theater is showing more subbed. I don't know. I'm glad. I prefer subbed because I saw the trailer for this film when I was watching. What was the last film I just went and saw? Wow, I am forgetting. I did a podcast episode on it. Whatever. Last time I went to movies to watch a film, I saw the Spy Family trailer in English dubbed, and it was awful. It was, it was the Demon Slayer thing. Did I do? Yeah, I did. So, and I literally just exclaimed out loud how bad it was. Like, oh, no hesitation, no thought behind it. It's just like, what the... Oh, it was bad. I would have been... That was the other reason I had to wait until a Tuesday in the middle of the day, is because that was one of the only showings in subbed that fit into my time. Oh, it was... I'm so glad it was subbed. I couldn't have dealt with dub on this. I don't want to shit on the voice actors or dub in general. I'm trying to get better about that, but it was bad. Why are you doing this? Get better. Do something better. You gotta figure this out. And I know people are going to love the dub, and if you're listening to this and you love dub, we have differences in opinions. That's okay. That's fine. I still prefer sub. Now, I do watch some dub. I'm not saying. So, it's just this particular instance, it was bad. It was real bad. So yeah, that's leading up to the movie. And then a bit of poetic irony that just fits so well with the movie and what comes later is half of the commercials or trailers or whatever for this film, the first ones, were all military commercials. It was like the Navy, Guard, the Army National Guard, the Air Force. I was like, what the fuck? Why are they showing all these back to back? They were all back to back. It was leading up to it. It's not even like I got there early and they were showing whatever. These were like the commercials leading up to the film starting. And I was like, what the fuck is going on in this? Because, express more opinions, the U.S. military, terrible, very corrupt, a global nuisance overall, doing a lot of bad stuff everywhere, and then they're proudly showing this. They literally, the Air Force one is like, we own the skies, and then it shows them bombing places. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Anyways, this isn't this is it's just the irony is because they show this leading up to the movie. Then the military is the bad guys in the movie. I was like, fucking so fitting. It just comes right back at you. I was like, did someone do this on purpose? They just thought it would be funny too. There's no way this was an accident, or I don't know what was going on here. But I went from being like annoyed to like later it clicking and being like, that's fucking gold. So, I hope someone did that on purpose just to see if other people will catch on, because there was a lot. There were a lot of trailers. They were all back to back, but I guess it paid off in the end. I don't know, but yeah, that's the movie going experience. Empty theater, me, weird commercials, weird interactions with the people working there. Not weird, but kind of awkward. Oh, I don't know. It was a great time overall. I enjoy it. I kind of enjoy going to the movies by myself and being the only one in the theater. There's something nice about it. It's almost like a private screening just for me. At one point, just to like stretch and rest a bit, I just laid down in all the seats. Nobody was there. Nobody cared. Nobody would see me. And only for a little bit, just to stretch. Because then the movie was getting really good. And it was literally just me, like, sitting there, like, leaning forward, getting into it. And that's the other thing. The reason I like going to films by myself, and only one in the theater, is because I can really get into it. And I don't have to be ashamed about me making noises or worrying about annoying anyone else. Oh, it's great. Maybe I should just go alone. Try to find the worst times that I think nobody would go by myself. Just enjoy it. But then what if it's just me and one other person? That has happened before. It was like me and then like one other couple, and we just sat opposite sides of the theater just cause keep distance. But I don't know. I'm preferring this. It's been nice. And maybe it's just because I like the movie. Speaking of the movie, let's give you a little information. Stuff you can easily just look up on your own. But, you know what? Let me fill you in. Because, here's the thing. Since I watched this in the theaters, I couldn't take notes. I guess I could have. I could have taken something with me, but I didn't want to do that. Ruin the theater experience. So I'm going to try to pull all this stuff from my head the best I can. But before that, I can at least pull up something to give you a little bit of information about this film. So, yeah, the film was originally released in Japan on the 22nd December of last year, 2023. It's produced by Wit Studio and Cloverworks, probably studios everyone's familiar with. As far as I know, it's an original story. It's not something that you're going to see in the manga. Original screenplay. It was directed by Takashi Katagiri, don't know, and then screenplay by Ichiro Okuchi. Did a lot of stuff I'm not too familiar with. Oh, doing a lot of stuff for current anime. Did Lupin the Third Part 5. Okay, neat. I like that. Anime films, other stuff, just random stuff. You can't always go and check it out. And yeah, just based off the manga, but not canon to the manga. I don't know. The whole annoying canon and not canon, whatever, it doesn't matter. It came to the U.S. I should know this off the top of my head. And it was supposed to be, they say the release was supposed to officially be on April 19th of this year, 2024. But of course, they start showing it at a bunch of theaters, including mine, surprisingly, on the Thursday before, which is where I originally was going to see it, but then changed my mind, luckily, because I'm glad I did. I'm glad it all worked out better. So yeah, everything. Yeah, that's it. That's all you really need to know. I don't know how well it's doing in theaters. You can look up all the other little nitty gritty stuff if you're that interested in it. Because I don't think that's the most interesting thing for me to talk about. So I'm just going to jump right into talking about what happens in this film because, there's a lot. It's an hour and 50 minutes, almost 2 hours, which is what I prefer movie length to be. But if it's a few minutes short, that's okay, I guess. Was there an opening in this? I don't know if there was like a opening credit scene or anything. I don't remember there being. There might have been. I just didn't. It was good or it blended in or fit so well. I didn't really pay that much attention to it. Yeah, I don't remember there. I mean, I did. Oh, I will say I did try to stay and watch the credits, or at least be there for credits. In case extra credit scene, all that. Because now I'm just used to that being a thing. But then I left because one of the workers came in. I think a different one too, and was waiting there to clean up. And I was, of course, the only one in the theater, so it was just the guy standing there staring at me. I was like, I'm sure there's no extra scene. I'll just go ahead and go. So that happened. But anyways, the film, what this is about. I kind of said it. Overall, what it's about is Lloyd is about to get removed from Operation Strix because some other person with connections wants to take it over, pretty much. And he's worried about that. Well, Anya just happens to... The class is about to do some kind of dessert cooking competition. And Lloyd thinks that's like a good opportunity to prove that Operation Strix still needs to stay with this family. Because if not, then the family has to dissolve. So Lloyd looks up the principal's favorite thing. It ends up being something called a Mary Mary, which I didn't look up. I don't know if Mary Mary is a real thing. It's a town in New Zealand. Mary, I think. Oh, is it a dessert? Nope. It might be a made up thing. Maybe. It might be based off of something, but change the name of it. Marmalade, I don't know. So, it looks like like a weird whipped creamy fruitcake kind of thing. I don't know. In the film, at least. So that's them, and then what is Yor doing? Oh yeah, Yor being an assassin. Oh, is starting to get paranoid because Yor's coworker, one of them is talking about spouse is cheating, or what's the word? Just cheating or whatever. I can't remember when spouse cheats or something. Being unfaithful, that kind of stuff. And it gets into Yor's mind, and it's like there's three main things. If the spouse is staying overnight somewhere different, suddenly giving gifts, and I'm trying to think of, because they of course all happen at some point. Oh, and changes outfits, and then that means they're cheating. But yeah, so all this is happening. Then over in a place called Frigis. It's like frigid because it's cold, because it's snowy area, something like that. They decide as a family to go get this dessert because it's the principal's favorite. They're going to try it, try to learn how it's made, and then teach Anya, which seems like a doomed thing to begin with. I don't know. There was no guarantee Anya would ever even know how to make this very old-fashioned, professional level dessert when we already see Anya kind of isn't the best at doing things, but that's the hope. So they go on the way there. They're on a train. Anya and Bond, who's just a champ through this whole thing. Anya finds a key. Bond sees the future of Anya finding the chest that he goes to. So of course, Anya sees that and is like, "Oh well, now I gotta go do that." Goes do that. Turns out to be a piece of chocolate. And it's like, oh, and Anya somehow ends up eating the chocolate. There's two goons who we later find out are military people that realize Anya did that because Anya can't be sneaky. Try to get, and then Yor runs into him, protects Anya, beats him up. Then they go on, and they go to a restaurant, and that's the other it's like kind of like the school rules too. Is only families are allowed to eat at this restaurant. It has some kind of name. I don't remember it. I don't know if the name matters that much. But it's everyone at the restaurant is cool. Bond can't come in because no dogs allowed. But a waitress still comes out and gives Bond a really nice looking, like a gourmet for people bowl of food. And so that's really nice. But then this is where our antagonists show up, the military, and we see, it cuts back a couple times to Yor's brother, Yuri, I don't know, Yor's brother, and it kind of already sets up and it's like, oh, something fishy is going on with the military up there. And it's like, oh no, Yor's taking a vacation up there. We gotta do something, and then not allowed to do anything. So, gotta stay behind. Yeah, military shows up. The guy in charge is just like, you gotta feed me because I'm military. Fuck you, USA, America bullshit. But this isn't actually America, but that's straight up. That's such an American thing, especially in all the places the U.S. is occupying. They just fucking walk all over everyone. And they're like, oh, this restaurant's only for families. Like, no, fuck that. Give me food. And then it's like, I also want the Mary. Oh, and it's like, well, we're all out. And he's like, I see a piece right there, motherfucker. And it's like, well, that's literally for a child. I already ordered it. And it's like, well, I haven't touched it yet. Fuck you. I'm going to try it. And fuck that child. America. But then Lloyd's like, you know what? Don't do that, please. It's for my daughter. And guy, fuck you. And he's like, well, how about a little... No, wait. I think military guy was like, well, how about this? A little competition, since you seem to also be into food. And Lloyd, they do a little competition where they try like 3 desserts and tell what kind of sugar in it. And they can be as specific as they want. And Lloyd gets them all right. However, military guy gets them all right and gets the exact amount of sugar that's in each one. So, congrats. This military dude literally just stole a dessert from a child. But, okay, America and shit. So that happens. And it's the last piece. The owner can't make any more because... all the ingredients are out and there won't be another shipment until that Monday, but they have to leave the next day. So Lloyd's like, well, what if we go and get all the ingredients? Can you make it for us or show us or give us the recipe or whatever? And the owner's like, yeah, sure, if you can get all the ingredients. And they managed to do it. They go out right away. Lloyd gets pretty much everything right away. And I guess a cool little impressive shopping spree. All that's left is orange syrup, which we see at a rigged like little shooting gallery thing, which Lloyd shows off and like shows how this guy's just exploiting customers or whatever, which it comes back later, of course, showing off these skills. And then the last thing, which I already brought up, is the cherry liqueur, which can't be found anywhere. Oh, and then I missed the part. Throughout all this, Yor's suspicious of Lloyd, thinking Lloyd wants to find a new wife to play the part. A new person to play the part of the wife, because Yor saw Lloyd, aka Twilight, kind of have an accidental, almost romantic moment in an alley with Midnight, the other crazy person who keeps trying to take over your spot as wife. And all it was simple was like the wind blew a hat and Lloyd caught it, but whatever. But you know, yours a little silly, so it gets suspicious. Of course, because the coworkers were getting you're all worked up too. And so this whole time, Yor was getting nervous about that and was wanting to talk to Lloyd about it, but not in front of Anya. So then Yor got drunk on the mulled wine. And I thought the scene would play out longer, but really gets drunk and then just passes out. And that was pretty much that. But hey, still, alcohol, you know? Cheers to that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, now we just have Lloyd sends Anya and Bond back with Yor to go back to the hotel while it's time to be a spy and do spy stuff. And not necessarily completely legal spy stuff. That's why they all have to get sent away. And even though Lloyd searches all the stores, warehouses, I think private residences too. Apparently not all of them actually. Can't find it anywhere. Yeah, what a shame. Then while this is all going on, we cut back. I think we cut back. At some point we come back. I'll just go ahead and cut to it now. The military people, the goons from the train were also military. Surprise, surprise. And it turns out they were looking for the chocolate because there's a little microfilm in it that is needed for some reason. I don't think we ever find out what's actually on it. But yeah, this big bad wanted the microfilm that was in the chocolate. Honestly, I thought it was just going to be something silly, like because this military guy is just such a food person, just really wanted this very rare chocolate and was so mad about it, they were going to hunt down the girl. That wasn't it. There was a microfilm in it. I was like, okay, well, that makes more sense and it's a little less silly, even though we don't know what to do. But the microfilm apparently is important enough to start a war, which is I don't think it straight up said it, but I think the reason Lloyd was taking off this Operation Strix was to look for this microfilm as like the next mission, but I think it all just happened anyways. But so now they're looking for Anya because they know the little girl ate it, and yeah, so there's people out and about hunting for it. Well, after Lloyd fails to find the cherry liqueur, goes back to the hotel, calls, I don't remember the name, whatever Lloyd's informant friend is, to try and get some cherry liqueur. Says, yeah, it'll be in the next town, so Lloyd has to drive over there throughout the night and for Anya just to go to bed. Anya gets sad, and Bond has another vision of the future that Anya finds it in a store, still in that same town, which is confusing. Lloyd is supposed to be this top-notch spy, and we see like the search for it in all these different places, but still somehow misses like a simple little store. Just didn't had it right on the shelf and just missed it somehow. Anya apparently. Here's the thing about Bond's future is, how did Anya know it was there for Bond to see the future of it? Because I don't know, this is the whole like time and future sightseeing stuff that is always weird and kind of weird loopholes and whatever. But yeah, so Anya runs away because, you know, sad that Lloyd's about to leave them all again, even though Yor does end up convincing Lloyd to take all of them. But it doesn't matter because they realize Anya runs away, goes searching, and did Anya have money? I don't know. Anyways, Anya ends up getting it, leaves the store. There's a couple of different goons that see Anya and was like, is that the girl? I was like, nah, that can't be it. And it's like, oh, okay, gotta wait. Turns another street. The two original goons see, and it's like, okay, well, what was the whole point? Okay, whatever. So they try to take Anya. Bond tries to defend. Bond, too much of a good boy, though, does rip an arm patch off the person. One of them. But they still are able to take Anya away. Bond's knocked out by a can. I thought it would be an empty can. Maybe it was full, and that's why I was able to knock Bond out. Then Yor and Lloyd find Bond, realize there's a patch in it, know exactly who took Anya now. Now, this whole time, the other agency Lloyd works for is about to send out other people to try to get this microfilm too, but midnight volunteers, without anyone else agreeing, automatically comes, pretends to be hotel staff. So they start working together. Lloyd finds a plane. I think it was a plane the restaurant was named after. I think it was across the street. Something like that. And just decides to fly. And no one's questioning. Like, Yor doesn't really question. It's like, oh, you're just going to fly this plane off to somewhere. But while Lloyd takes off, Yor hides under. Then they fly and go to this big old giant war blimpy thing. There's a name for the kind of ship, but I don't know ship names. But it was a big flying aircraft. Meanwhile, while they're flying there, they're trying to make Anya poop. The big bad guy in control says that they need to make sure. It's such a weird thing, and a weird thing to talk about, but they need to make sure Anya passes the microfilm. And also, very, very micro. There's no way. I feel like even if Anya poop, there's no way they're finding this. Because it's so small. I'll explain how small later. And and of course Anya can remind, so is able to know that once Anya poops, they'll get rid of her, or they'll be done with her and just kill her. And so Anya's like, oh well, I can't poop now. I have to do everything I can to keep myself from pooping. And of course, when you know you can't poop, it's a time you really need to. So now we get to spend the next most of the rest of the movie of Anya. No, I wouldn't say most of the rest. Time flies, but Anya just struggling to not poop. It's just this little girl. It's such little boy humor, and it's just funny to see it with Anya. And then these two giant dudes just try and get this little girl poop, which would be creepy any other time, but it's so funny in this instance. And there's just a struggle, and eventually, when all hope seems lost, Anya sees the poop god. I wish I would have been drunk, but also I didn't need to because it was wacky. The animation completely changes. It's so weird. The poop god is pretty much just like, it's okay, you can let it out now. And there's like poop, and there's like they fly through the air through farts, and there's a magic toilet. And then right when it's about to happen, the two guys start being creepy again, and I was like, oh, never mind, I'm not doing that. But then Big Bad says, oh well, little girl not gonna poop, cut stomach open. And now they're like, okay, well I don't want to do that. Well, we gotta compete. I think they just played rock paper scissors to see who would have to do it. And in the meantime, they have Anya tied up, trying like exorcist style get the poop out. It's the whole there's just a solid, I don't know, 15-20 minutes of just non-stop poop gags and jokes and nonsense. And then while all that's happening, Anya's, of course, hoping to be saved. And then Lloyd, with Yor in tow, is having to tries to request emergency landing on the ship, which the logic seems not making sense. Why would they're above like mountains and stuff, but why request on a random obvious military ship? But Big Bad's just like, oh, shoot that plane down. It does fucking America shit. And it's just so, and all like cool flight scenes. They're shooting, Lloyd's dodging all of it somehow. Then they try to send like anti-aircraft missiles. Lloyd easily dodges those. And then at some point, Lloyd finally gets shot down a bit. Luckily, Yor never gets hit. They crash into the side of it. That's when the real action really takes off. From here, it's all action, so I don't need to get into the specifics of it because, of course, everything's going to work out for our favorite people. But it's pretty much Lloyd goes right into the place and just starts trying to hunt down wherever Anya is. Still had no idea Yor was there, and the whole time, I don't know what Yor was thinking, But it starts off running on the top, dodging some more bullets, turret stuff, get some people blown up. A lot of violence, so much violence. But I mean, of course. And what it comes down to is eventually someone called Type F, which is just, I don't know, is it even I guess it's a real person who is mostly just machine at this point. It has like just equipped with big old guns and like a machine gun, Gatling gun, arms. So you're pretty much eventually spends most of the time fighting Type F. Well, starting at first being like all nice and like, have you seen my husband and child? They're anywhere around here? I was like, oh, you're just too sweet. You're too much. And just then by the end ends up just fighting Type F for the rest of the time. Meanwhile, Lloyd running around trying to find Anya, who, thanks to the airplane crashing into this airship and then fire spray on this, Anya's able to escape, finally find a bathroom and poop for real without any weirdo creeps getting the poop. So weird to talk about. But it still ends up getting recaptured again, taken to the big bad. The big bad just locks Anya up like underneath or in some just little compartment, whatever. And tells the goons to just go search the sewage tanks for it. And this is why I said there's no way they were going to find this little microfilm, because it's so small that it fits in between your teeth, because that's where it ends up being, is when Anya ate it, it got stuck between the teeth. And if it's that small, you're not finding that in a sewage tank, especially not in a bunch of shit and stuff. But Lloyd, thanks to Anya making a bunch of noise, eventually Lloyd's able to find the main room and that Anya's underneath it while fighting the big bad. You know, it's just fighting. There's like a bunch of disguises. People, he confuses the other little lackeys of the big bad. Able to knock that person out and then convince the lackeys to just take the real one away. And then the big aircraft. I know I skipped a whole bunch of action, but I mean, it's just typical actiony stuff. I said the most important parts, but saves Anya. Yor finally beats the machine person because Lloyd bought some lipstick, gave it to Yor, and apparently most of it's oil. So while Yor and Type F is somewhere in the ship, fighting literally in fire, Yor is able to beat Type F, beat it. I don't know how to refer to this thing. Person beat Type F enough that the inside is revealed and that's our ammo. And Type F's thinking, oh, you're using little pathetic knives that can't really hurt. Even though you were getting the shit beat out of you, even if you're not dead or don't feel it getting hurt. But then Yor uses like this highly flammable lipstick, jaws all over, everywhere, then lights it on fire, and that's how Type S would be. And then somehow finds the way to the engine room, and just like, ta-da, I'm here now. And tells Lori just snuck into the bottom of that airplane, which is still like, there's so many questions. If I was either of them, of course Anya knows the truth of everything that happened because Anya can read minds, but if I was Lloyd, I'll be like, okay, well, how did you not get caught? How did you not get shot? Or all this bad thing? Because to Lloyd, I'm pretty sure, like, just thinks Yor's like some kind of office worker, and that's it. And of course, Yor thinks Lloyd is just a doctor. So what did Yor think was going on? Why would Lloyd suddenly take a plane and fly it to here? I don't know. Don't know they're thinking for anything. Then Lloyd takes control of the airship because it's about to crash into the town. For some reason, I don't know how it ended up heading that direction in the first place. I guess that was the original goal. I don't know the full goal of the main bad guy, except for wanting to start another war. I didn't know where the plan actually went from there though. But Lloyd takes control of it, or tries to, and tells Yor, just had like a part-time job flying while in school or something. And Yor's like, okay, sure. But has trouble steering it. So then, big family moment. I think I started like really getting into it, just like chills or something like that. I was just so proud of the little made-up family. Because they're all trying to turn the wheel. Anya literally just hanging off of it because small child can't do much physically. And they get it. They save it. They crash it into a big lake. And then that's when Anya sneezes because they get splashed with water and sneezes out the microfilm. And it's like, it was there the whole time. It was nothing to worry about. Those poor goons that had to go in the water and or go in the sewage system. I wonder if they even made it there. Or they're just like, nah, I'm not doing that. Because I don't think it ever showed. I also don't really know if it showed what happened to those two goons or like the main big bad. I know we see... I don't even remember the person's name. I know we see the main guy get carried away because after being knocked out. Yeah, I don't remember seeing them ever again. So I don't know what happened. But everything's fine now. Everything's safe. Bond was left behind, just waiting. Midnight also just waiting. Everything turns out fine. Then I guess they got the stuff. I feel like there was 10 minutes that could have been included to make it 2 hours. That could have just solidified and kept the guessing games out of it a little bit, because I don't remember it ever showing them go back to the restaurant to try it or whatever, which of course it can be assumed. Which, speaking of assumptions, there's a really nice thing that goes on in here where any other nice stuff, where it's the stuff you can feel where you don't need to read thoughts and stuff. Like, if you were in the situation, you could feel it coming from someone. But it's obviously Anya reads either Lord or Yours Mind, and it has that little sound effect, but it doesn't actually tell you what they were thinking. But you get the feeling, and you know exactly, like, it's something nice and sweet. And that's just a happy moment too. And that's the part I'm glad they don't have to tell you. But it's like, you could take a few more minutes to show us exactly what happened to these military groups. It does flash back to Yuri. What's Yuri's brother? Yeah, Yuri. Flashback to Yuri and all that, and they have their hands full now dealing with all the backlash of this. I guess they get the recipe. They go back. We never even see Anya make it because at this competition or whatever, and they're about to get started, and then I guess there's a fire or some kind of mechanical malfunction, and they have to hold off on the competition and making it. So Anya comes back all sad, and because, let's be fair, we knew Anya was going to fuck it up either way. Something else was going to fuck up. At least it wasn't Anya's fault this time. I don't think it was. So now it's not going to be the principal judge anymore. Whenever they do it again or try it again, it's going to be, I think it was the vice principal. So yeah, now they got to figure out vice principal's new thing, which is, I don't know what the dessert is, but they have to go to another dessert from some other place by the beach or a warmer region or something like that. So it's like, it's the perfect thing for like a sequel, but of course I don't think it will actually be a sequel. It shows like, I think it shows like Bond have like a future vision, and it's like them just enjoying a nice actual vacation, just one shot. It's like, that's so nice. I'm glad they get to have this. It's like, so yeah, that's pretty much a movie, and I loved it. I loved it so much. I don't know if it's just I mean, I do like Spy Family. It's not like it's one of my favorite series ever. There's a few episodes that I think are just awesome and just so enjoyable to watch. The rest is nice enough. But it's not like I ever thought the series itself was outstanding, but this movie was just so enjoyable. It was so great. And I'm almost tempted to watch again if one of my friends ever decides to go watch it. I might, I might join. I don't know. I maybe not have time. Maybe if it comes on Crunchyroll, I'll watch it again. Since all my other friends, that's the other thing. Is all my other friends aren't caught up. Um, yeah, they're not caught up with the series. You don't need to be. I didn't think you would need to be for this movie, because really, Spy Family overall is kind of episodic. You don't really have to watch every episode. I mean, it helps, but every episode is pretty much its own thing. Maybe the second season you would. There's a more overall storyline in the second season, but this is just pretty much completely removed from the series. It explains enough in the beginning really quickly in a very easy to understand way. When it like introduces every character, it was a kind of cool little sequence too about what's going on. You don't really need to, but yeah, it was just nice. If you haven't seen Spy Family, but you want to see this film, go ahead, go for it. Oh, I forgot. I was thinking about it the whole time, and I was saving it towards the end. So, Lloyd ends up getting reassigned back to Operation Strix because the person that took it over, what's the name? Anyway, ended up getting caught cheating. I'm pretty sure the person this guy was cheating on or cheating with was one of the yours coworkers. So it's just a funny way to just wrap it up and just be like, oh yeah, this whole time this coworker was talking about this because just being involved in like this scandal. And it's like, oh, okay. Adultery? Is that it? Adultery? Cheating? I don't know. I think that's what it is. Something like that. But yeah, just got caught up in the scandal. Cover blown already, I guess. And now, yeah, Lloyd gets it back. Family gets to stay together. Oh, so cute. Yeah, no problem to begin. Of course, we know it'll all be okay. They wouldn't let anything bad happen to the Folgers. Forgers? Not Folgers. Folgers is something else. So yeah, everything's okay. Everything's nice. It's a great movie. It's so great. Woo! I was so excited to talk about this and the fact that my drink, fuck, what did I say? The all cherishing. Yeah, sure. All cherishing. Yeah, that makes enough sense because it's like all cherish and all cherishing. Yeah, sure. The all cherishing. Great movie. I thought about sneaking alcohol in with me, but I didn't really need it. It was a good time. Yeah. So if you haven't seen this film, weird that you listen to this podcast, go watch it if you get a chance. In theaters, it's great. The bigger screen, the better, probably, because there's a lot of funny stuff, a lot of actiony stuff, just a lot of cool. The animation's really good. Especially when Anya meets the poop god. I think there was another like change in animation style, but I can't remember exactly what it was. But I'm feeling like it was. I don't know what it'd be. But yeah, it has that great humor, has cool action, good characters. I'm pretty sure yours moving up to like one of the best waifus of all time, just best girl of all time, if anything. Everything, so great. Bond, one of the best boys. Anya and Lloyd are okay too. But yeah, it was nice. Check it out. If you're not going to watch it in theaters, I'm sure it's going to be on Crunchyroll eventually, so you could just wait till then. But I'm trying to think. I don't really remember much music stuff from it, so I don't know if music was a big part of this. Yeah, that's all I can really comment on it before I just start completely rambling on whatever. So I guess I'll just wrap it up here. Yeah, that's it for this episode of Alcohol and Anime, where I watch Spy Family Code White. I'm assuming the Code White just has to do with the snow, because if it was in my head, it would have been Code Red. But that's also a Mountain Dew flavor. I don't know. Code White's a good enough name for it, I guess. But they never really say Code White either. I don't remember that ever being said. Huh. Code Chocolate? Code Microfilm? Oh. Huh. Is the other animation I'm thinking of is Anya, as a kid, is trying to think of why this chocolate is so important and things that I could just remember this. Anya thinks at some point like this chocolate is so important they were trying to steal it and they're the chocolate thieves because the whole country is relying on this chocolate to be like good or bring them money or something. The chocolate will save them, and since they stole the chocolate, now they'll be mad and it'll start a war. I think that's the other animation point I was talking about. But yeah, that's it. Spy Family Code White is great. Go watch it. But let me know what you thought of it. If you have watched it, let's talk about it, please. It's so good. I enjoyed it so much. But yeah, you can talk about it depending on where you listen to it. If you can leave a comment or something, go ahead and do that. If not, you can follow me on social media, theacstories. Then you can email me at theacstories@gmail.com, or I have a Discord. You can join that. We can talk about all kinds of things there. And I also have a Ko-fi. Yeah, that's right. I want to thank my Ko-fi member Julio Vasquez. If you also want to help support me with this stuff, the support, where if you want to, you don't have to. I would appreciate it. It doesn't go towards the alcohol. It goes to like equipment and all the other stuff I would get and stuff. So you don't have to worry about that if that's your worry. But yeah, it's cool whatever you decide to do. Links to all my socials and Ko-fi and stuff, all that will be in the description wherever. But yeah, if you like this, go ahead and like, heart, whatever you can do. If you want to keep up with this and all the other series, like I have my main monthly alcohol anime movie podcast. Then I'm also doing now a weekly video alcohol anime series based off of Bartender Glass of God, where I tell you a little bit about the episode, but only enough to lead up to the drink of that week, and then I make it in the video. So you can do that and watch that, keep up with that in between both these alcohol anime series. But yeah, you can keep up with that by following, subscribing, whatever you do on whatever platform. The videos are on YouTube, TikTok, and Spotify. So if you're not on one of those, you have to see it. But yeah, that is it. Be sure to rate it, hopefully very well if you want to. And most importantly of all, share it. If you know people who like anime, alcohol, and the mix, and just nonsense kind of, share it with them. Let them know about me. Give me more fans. I'm slowly getting up there. But I'm just doing it for fun. So it's cool. It's whatever. But I will thank you so much for listening. I have been your otaku Tanner, the AC Stories. This has been Alcohol Anime. Until next month. Bye.